All right, good morning, traders. Let's get back to the trading action. It's one of those days where yesterday, we started seeing a little bit of a pullback, definitely an indecision type of day. What are we going to see today? Are we going to see tech start ripping back to the upside? Are we going to see value keep strong after yesterday's move? Or will we see some of the lower names, some of the growth names continue ripping? Carvana already making big moves. Yesterday, it was a firm. Will it be some other names today? Find out, of course, right here on live trading. Smash the like. Let me know your top watch in the watch list right there in the chat. Let me know.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. I mean, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, traders, welcome to it. Let's get to the action. How we doing out there? We're going to go ahead and bring on the boys, right? We got Ryan Faluna in the house. We got Zunaid in the house. How we doing out there, team?
Doing all right. Another day.
Yeah, I'm going to get after it.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to, I guess it's a bittersweet because I'm lucky enough to have 2 Carvana calls. But it's not in my Mumu account, which is what I really need to have a jump start. And the contract that I do have there is poo-poo. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Is there a rebuy that we're doing? I don't know. Might have to talk about it.
We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll definitely get into the action. You guys can find out all about Zunaid's options action. And you guys see him. He's getting back into the hot seat and definitely was killing it yesterday. So shout out to you, Zunaid. Get back to it, my friend. Stay focused. Nail it another day, man. That's what it's all about. And I think that's what it's really fun here, being with like kind of 3 different traders, right? There's going to be days where I struggle. Zunaid kills it. There's going to be days where Ryan struggles and Zunaid and I kill it, right? Learn from that, right? Learn from our mistakes, learn from our wins. That's what we're here for. It's not about talking about Zunaid's Lambo that's out front. It's more about talking about the process approach and being able to come in here every single day and understanding that it's a new day. Let's get after it, team. Let's see what we can get after today. All right, so of course, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We'll keep watch on certain stocks today. Carvana making a nice little lift, of course, already. We'll see if this is able to pull back. Affirm yesterday, right? It's right back down to where it was. Will this get the lift off again? This is one that's going to be definitely on my radar today, especially if I see growth stocks take a nice little move to the upside, right? We'll see what happens on here. 16, I feel like, is acting as support. Yesterday, we went to 1610, 1620s, bounced multiple times, 1612s. So maybe we get a little bit of a pullback close to there, maybe even 16, and then a push right back through 17. I'll keep this one on my radar. Affirm. We'll see what happens on certain names. I've also been seeing XLI take a little bit of a lift. So let's see what happens with names like that. Honeywell on my radar for a 200 push. We'll see if the market keeps pulling back. These are the names that I'll probably start going after. Some industrial names and some of the turnaround that we'll be looking for today. We'll have to just wait to see what happens there. Of course, the SPY kind of holding in right now, but it's been sideways here. I think this is very important to note. What are we going to do? Are we going to break above or below this kind of rectangle outlook right now? And you guys can see how this kind of lines up with what we're seeing. And I'm going to be focusing on this. Below this, I'll be looking for more value names. Above this, pushing back to the upside, I'll be looking for the tech names. So I have my outlook. The only question is, do you out there have your outlook for the day? Definitely important. We'll find out. All right, pulling down my charts, I'll go ahead and get to my man Ryan, and we'll take a look at the S&P 500, different stocks. What are you seeing in the market today, Ryan?
Well, what I'm seeing, I'm going to be watching the broader market today. We did see tech pull back yesterday, and tech really hasn't been down 2 days in a row in a while. So today is really going to be key. Do we actually get further pullback in some of these big cap tech names? Do we go for 2 days down in a row? Is this the start of a larger pullback? Because really tech and some of the big stocks have been the only stocks propping up the market. So today is likely to be a big day. And I'm definitely going to be watching the SPY. I'm definitely going to be watching the Qs. And we'll likely try and trade some of those ETFs connected to both of those. So I would probably use the SQQQ if I'm going to trade to the short side, TQQQ for the long side. And then as far as tech, because the semis have been the leaders, I would probably trade the SOXS and the SOXL. So we'll keep an eye out for those. If we take a look at the movers tool, we do have some new issues here today, or some new stocks that are potentially going to trade. First one here is going to be BAOS. You can see we actually popped up to about 1258. We've kind of come back here. We're sitting at the near the VWAP. I didn't see any news on this. It looks like this is just kind of moving on technicals. We're up 83% here, so this is liable to get a little crazy here today. I think one of the things that I'm going to do is mark off the top here. I don't know that I'm going to trade this one. Just in an effort to try and be a little bit more tactical with some of my trades, I might skip some of these really crazy trading stocks. So unsure if I'm actually going to take this one here yet today. That's BAOS. Next here is going to be MGRX. And I'm sorry, I know my charts are struggling a little bit here. I'm going to do what I can to get through that. MGRX here.
Yeah, my trading view is acting up a little too, but if you want, I can go.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean,
All right.
The charts in here are trading view. So if there's a problem with trading view, it's likely.
Yeah, there's some that are acting up, but here I can go ahead and talk about Carvana. So like I said, I have two contracts. They're the $15 calls expiring this week, and there's Carvana coming down to the downside a little bit. Let's see if it can hold this level, right? This is where you had support being held. Matter of fact, I might see if we can grab. The only thing is, like, are we going to have folks that have options and contracts and things like that go ahead and sell and try to push this one to the downside a little bit? But I think if it can come down and hold this 1850 and come back up to above 19s, could be a ride to 20 possibly. And I mean, on FinTwit, everyone's talking about how it's the number one shorted stock, this, that, the other. Who knows what type of wild ride we might be in for, but I do have a stop. I mean, I do have an alert set at $20 on this one. So keep an eye on Carvana. If it does pop, what I do have is an order to go ahead and sell one of my contracts for approximately $450. And the other one, I'm going to hold on and see if we get a crack above $20 or not. But nonetheless, that's what I've got on Carvana. Let's go ahead and head to the SPY. All right. Clear enough. You can see that we've had support being held on the 426, right? So you've got support, and then you had support right there as well. So if you're looking to go to the downside, if you're looking to short the SPY, I think you've got to wait and see if we can crack that one. And then to the upside, I mean, it doesn't get easier than this right here. 429.64. You can see a couple of days ago, that was the high. Yesterday, that was the high. So that's the range that you've kind of got right there. And I personally will do my best to not trade while we're in the middle of this range, because that way I can make sure I'm set up for success on my end. Let's go ahead and check out the Qs itself. Move a lot of these drawings. Qs, you've got a beautiful balance that you had from the 350s, right? Got you a whole point, and it finally cracked, stayed as resistance, and to the downside we came. Now you can see in pre-market, it tried to get above the 350, could not do it, and now it's back down 0.7. For me, if you're looking to go short, you've got to wait for a crack of this 348 level. If we can go ahead and head to the downside here, especially if tech is weak, this could be a nice way to play it instead of the SPY if you would like. Then, of course, you got to reclaim the 350s, in my opinion, if you want to go ahead and play this to the upside. So about a 2 points range in what I'm looking at personally. Let's go ahead and check out a couple of other stocks. Let's check out NVIDIA. We talked about that trend line. We had a false breakout, came right back down, and then just continued to flush. The area to short, in my opinion, is if you can go ahead and break this 375, or if we can come back and test this trend line, see if it's still valid. Give it about $1 or so. If it's not, cool, you're out. If it is, you can maybe go ahead and catch a little bit of a move. AI had a tough time breaking above 40. Could not do it yesterday, and now it's coming back down. Feel like AI is obviously still the hot sector, if you will, but I'm not sure if we have anything new in the news to go ahead and start pushing this one. So I'm going to kind of leave this one alone. Let's go ahead and take a look at CAT. CAT. CAT, you've got yesterday's resistance at this 236 area. Let's kind of go back and see if there's anything else that I personally like here on CAT. Wonder if there's this gap that needs to be filled right there. Yeah, right there. You've got a bit of a gap. If we can go ahead and pop above to see if we can get that filled on CAT, ticker CAT. Let's see if there's anything else. Ford. see what we've got on Ford as that one's popping up. I think we've got a nice little trend line support for anyone that's looking to play that. It's not the cleanest, but I believe it's there. And then let's see if we've got... There we go. So that's what I've got on Ford. This is a 4-hour chart. So maybe if you get an explosion above this move on Ford to, what is this, the 1365, if you get a move above and you get a test of that trend line, could be a nice little play to the upside on Ford. I'm just not sure how much Ford moves. I don't have any experience. I'm not saying it doesn't. Is Mitch here? Yeah, you are. Don't get on me. This isn't a Kroger joke, all right? I'm not sure how much Ford moves, but if you can get it above 1360s, above this trend line, maybe you can go ahead and
Not
have
enough juice there for you, bro.
I'm just saying, man, bro. Look, I mean, look, it is. Look, 13 to 60. That's a solid 60 cents if you captured the whole move. But you know what I mean? Not my cup of tea. I've been holding on to this contract, the 104 calls, and I am going to not win on this trade, as I'm sure those contracts will be almost worthless to go ahead and work out in my favor. But keep an eye on 100, though. Do we get another bounce from $100? You see, you had resistance, popped up, did not get a proper support. Actually, I lied. It did over here by 16 cents. And then a move. What a beautiful move it had of $3. Maybe we kind of get the same little reaction. D-Dog, once it broke 100 on the 10-minute, you got the retest yesterday, and then it said bye-bye and gave you approximately a $6 move to the downside. Let's take a look at PLTR because it broke 15, it went up to 17, and it came back down, and now it's back below 15. And what do you know? Let's go ahead and take a look left. Resistance, support, crack, and resistance. And then it gave you a nice little move for 50 cents. Tried to go back above 15 in the pre-market. It could not. And back down we go. And you've got 1450s being held here. If we can get back above 15, maybe you can take a shot at this one to the upside. If you get it down below 1450, I would say, hey, take a look down below. Coming back to Carvana here, we talked about this level being held as support, and so far it is. So when we open up in about 3 to 4 minutes, let's see if this area holds as support or holds a support, the buyer step up and go ahead and push this puppy back up. And I'm probably going to go ahead and adjust my sells or sell rather on this Carvana ticker on the couple of contracts that I do have. Instead of trying to sell it at 5, maybe I'll try to sell it at 4 because they're $15 calls. So obviously I'm going to get $3.50 on it, and then maybe at least 50 cents of intrinsic or exterior. You have the volatility that gets priced in and different things like that. But I definitely will have value on it since it is above 15. It's in the money itself. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything else in terms of Coinbase. Still waiting for this one to crack 50. Cannot do it at the moment, but we'll go ahead and set an alert right over there and see how that one wants to behave. That's the only thing that I'm paying attention to on Carvana is that $50 level if it does want to come down. Just look at how much it kind of bar-coded. A little bit of a wedge there, if you will. 54 crack to the upside. Maybe you can knock on the door of 55 itself. Tesla had a nice little move for us yesterday, but then unfortunately it just flopped. That's all it did. It made a nice little move. We made a couple of bucks on it, and then it just came right back down. There was no follow through whatsoever on Tesla. Not really looking for anything there. Maybe if we get a pop above yesterday's high day, we can move to the upside, but I can keep going though. But Mitch, if you have anything you want to share, you can. If not, I'll continue going.
No worries. I'm just looking around to see what's going to happen in the market today. Of course, I'm looking to see what happens in the Qs. I think that's very important. Have you talked about the Qs specifically, Zunaid?
I did, but you go ahead and give your insights.
Okay, because I think that, you and I have a tendency of looking at the Qs even more than the SPY a lot in this environment. I think it's very important, right? Because if the Qs can just stay there and not like crush down on us, I think we can look for those types of trades that you're looking at too, right? The growth trades, the stocks that really move, right? I mean, those are the opportunities where a lot of money can be made. So we're going to keep watch on those stocks today. We'll see what happens on the Qs overall. One thing that I'm looking at is like hourly supports, right? You can see here back from like June 1st, there was about the 346 area, 346.50 that was acting as support. That's where I think we could maybe pull back to and then eventually kind of get a little bit of an uplift. There's also a little bit of a gap here that we kind of just filled, right? You can see this here from the left-hand side. Last time we filled this, we also came right back down, right? We came back down and then we recovered here. So I'm looking to see if we come back into this space and then recover. So that would be a leak here out the gates and then maybe getting a recovery towards 10:30. I'm not going to be so quick to the gun here out the gates because it feels like lately we've been seeing a lot of what? The same thing that we saw yesterday, where it was bull trapped to the upside and then downside action. So I'm going to try to remain in kind of just a wait and see period until after that 9:45 and 10 a.m. Then I'll look to start making trades at 10 a.m. to keep going forward. And a lot of this is going to be more the price action. What do we see out the gates? Here it goes. Let's see what happens. All right, market opening up here, and I'll keep watch on sectors and stuff like that right out the gates. I think that's one of the most important things out the gates here is just keeping the watch on the rotation, see what moves and what doesn't.
All right, I went ahead and sold one of the Carvana contracts at $3. I wanted 4, couldn't get it. I'm out at $3. I'm still holding on to one just in case we get a little bit of a move.
All right, Affirm already starting to move up a little bit here. Just keeping an eye on it to see if it's going to make a 17 run here. 1668 just lifted off the 1640s, came down out the gates, caught that. Now right back up to 1674. This is one that I definitely keep on my radar today. We'll see what happens.
MGOL right at its VWAP. This ran yesterday on the news from Messi joining Inter Milan. BAOS first move here is down. We're actually right beneath the VWAP on it. Acon trying to push through the VWAP.
All right, we'll see what we
there
can
goes
get into
MGOL
today.
Off the VWAP.
All right.
MGRX going back to VWAP.
Let me try to get my screen up here. I'm gonna put you up for just a second, Zunaid, and then I'm gonna get my move going here.
I'm just keeping an eye on Carvana to see if we get a couple of moves or what the deal might be on this one. That's all.
Carvana, can't blame you for that outlook here.
That's all I'm taking a look at. And also, you've got the cues that are going to start to brush up against the 350. Here they go. Knock on the door of 350. Now what happens?
Knocking on my door.
There's a 30-cent drop coming right back up to reclaim it. Do we go ahead and pop right above or not? Is the question.
All right, guys, I have multiple charts up here. I have Carvana on the bottom right. I have Qs on the top right, SPY on the left here, Tesla on the bottom left. I'm going to actually put a firm there. So I'm putting a firm here, just keeping a close eye on it. It is pulling back a little bit. What are you guys looking at there? We'll see if it can get to 17 today. It'll definitely be interesting.
MGRX trying to go through the VWAP here at 202. It's dancing around this VWAP. We'll see if MGRX gets there. It goes and through. See what it does around this VWAP.
All right, there's a firm now towards 1687. I'm going to look for a little quick pullback towards 75 or 70 here to risk off of like 1660s, but doesn't look too bad on the day already. A firm getting a nice little bunch up here and looking like it wants to take out 17 today.
And the Qs just rejected 350, gave you 70 cents.
MGRX dancing around this VWAP here. No position.
All right, there's now 1690s showing up there for a firm, almost to the 17 there. So I'll look for pullbacks once we get to the 17, but there you go. See it? There's 17. Nice 60 cents win there. And I didn't take it because it was right out the gates. I talked about it, right? I'm trying my best not to be too much.
I'm trying that too, yeah.
Too quickly, but was the move there? Yeah, you can see it in the firm here. Nice little move up. Nice little drive. It held sideways there at the 1670s and now drove right to 17. So that's a nice 60-cent win already. But a firm can have a bigger move today. So I'm looking for some pullback now to join the party. We'll see what happens. And there's the pullback right back below the 17.
BAOS halted to the upside right at the pre-market highs on BAOS.
Getting a nice push there in the Qs to the 349 spot. We'll see what happens if that can lift other stocks.
Palantir did hold the 1450s, now above 1505.
Affirm just bunching here at the 1690s. It still looks good there. I'm going to look for a little bit of a pullback more, but still hasn't come back yet.
Carvana trying to regain control above VWAP and above 19, currently 40 cents short of doing so. I'm not actually short the stock.
There's the Qs coming right back down. That's where it gets a little bit creepy there, right? When you see the Qs come to the lows there. Affirm's right back at the level that I was looking at for like kind of the VWAP, 1675, 1670. But with the Qs pulling back, it's just a little bit difficult to jump in right here.
We've got a request to talk about Meta. Let's see what we've got on Meta. Yeah,
there goes MGRX. MGRX really consolidated around the VWAP and is now pushing away from it. I too missed that early here, Mitch, because I'm trying to be tactical out of the open here and not just chase things, especially things that are bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, that's where it gets difficult, man. Like everything tells me jump into Affirm right now, but I'm just like, dude, just wait for the market to give you the opportunity, because if the SPY wipes out to the downside, Qs wipe out, I don't think this is going to hold. That's where it gets tough. It gets tough. Like there's some indecision there, and you guys can even hear it in my voice there, right? That's what trading's about, team.
On Meta here, you can possibly have support at 258.44. That's where you had resistance back at the end of the month in May, and you also had support there on May 31st. So keep an eye on that 258.44. I'll quickly just show it right here. So that's what I'm talking about here. Resistance, support, support, support. Let's see how it behaves. Got you right back up.
I'm just continuing to watch, team, and I want to take Mumu trades today, especially too. So I'm looking for it. Affirm is one that I'm keeping in mind, but that's too much of a quick trade, I think, for this kind of Mumu account. It could be easily a trade that I could give up more risk than I want to. So I'm looking for more of that like kind of day trading action there. But we'll see what happens in the markets right now. Let's go to the Explore tab, see if there's any themes showing up for me. I see silver showing up for me, and I have been looking for gold to get a little bit of a lift. Look at the bottom left here, telling me gold. So GOLD is one that I've been keeping an eye on. It made it a kind of pullback day yesterday, multiple bottoms at 17 there. So I'm going to look for a push above 1725 on GOLD. And this could be maybe one in the Mumu account right here, right? So at least one thing that I like about this is that it doesn't move too much. Gold, right? When it makes a good move could be, and I use the ATR to tell me that, like 38 cents, 40 cents on a good move. So I can already look to see if maybe we can get towards like 1740s today, 1750s. Doesn't look too bad there in GLD.
You've got Carvana that broke 18. I think the next area that I'm going to look to personally buy might be the 17s. As if we go ahead and look left, you had resistance. Come on, there we go. Could not get above 17. And we'll see if that one ends up holding as support, if it even comes down to test it or not.
All right, 62 tap there for Affirm. I kind of like that. If you're looking for VWAP bounces types of trades, I've told myself to at least wait to 945. So I'm waiting here. And I might miss the move because of it, but I'm looking to see what happens here in Affirm. It's a nice little setup here. I'll go to the 5 minutes. So you can see here how we just kind of pushed above, now pulled back here towards the 60s, and now it's reloading into the 80s. We'll see if it takes out 17 and keeps going. I might have missed this trade just being a little patient. I'm trying my best not to trade too early. That's been hurting me as of late.
Yeah, me too, Mitch. And MGRX looks like it flirted with the highs there. It's pulling back to VWAP now. DBI at the highs here right out of the gate. Designer brands. No trade in any of these moves. Carvana 18.
Yep.
ALYA really just kind of bleeding from the open.
And there you go, back to 1690s. We'll see if it takes out 17 there on Affirm and goes higher. There's 1695s. One thing that I liked about Affirm, of course, it had a catalyst too, right? And it pulled back on that catalyst. Now I'm looking to see if buyers re-step in here and take control. Square having a decent day there for me, at least starting to get back above the VWAP. Will this continue to ride higher on my swing trade?
Guys.
I do want to let you guys know that I did take the money off there in ARKK today. So ARKK taking the swing trade off there. It did cut through 42 earlier. I got out of that trade. It was a really nice win there in ARKK. Can't be mad about that, but it is trying to recover here. So we'll see what happens on ARKK if it could recover right now.
All right, on the Carvana trade again, still just waiting, right? As here, I'm not a broker, but still waiting. I went ahead and switched my trade onto the other broker here. So 17 is my entry, 1650 is my stop loss, $18 is where I'm looking to take gains if I get filled at 17.
All right, looking around, I see Carvana pulling back there towards 1796. I see Affirm pulling back on me. And I see the Qs starting to pull back a little bit. And just keeping eyes on the Qs to see if we can kind of make an attempt to the downside here. Affirm right back below the VWAP there. And it's getting towards that time. What do we got? We got 940, almost to 945 here. And I'm moving towards more of a 5-minute basis to keep myself from jumping on the 1 minute.
Savant, I haven't purchased the shares yet. I'm waiting to purchase them at 17 if it comes down. But to answer your question in terms of how many will I purchase, it'll be 200. So I'm risking $100 as my stop loss will be near 1650. And then my first target will be 1750. So that'll be 1-to-1. And then my second target will be $18 as that'll be 2-to-1. And then I'll try to leave a little bit of it if it wants to go ahead and continue running. But I am not in the trade. I am looking to purchase at 17 on Carvana.
All right, we're just hanging out here in Affirm, looking at it. We'll eventually try to take a trade on this one, but trying to be patient a little bit here and let the position kind of build up. I'd like a little bit of a tick down back below the 60s, but haven't got that outlook yet. 79 starting to come back here. It's 941. Will we get another push to the upside here at 945? The Qs are trying to come towards the 350s here. Spies, it's still in sideways consolidation. Yes. And so that's the only concern for me. I've been trying to see the SPY get out of this rectangle, and I'll show you guys that in just a second here. But I definitely think that's one of the most important things is if the market can actually make a move, because if the market isn't going to make a move, I think we're going to see a lot of chop, and I'm trying to avoid the chop early and then catch the move later. So I'll show you guys that chart right now. I'm looking at right there, the SPY in this sideways consolidation. What's going to happen? Is it going to go above to 427.50s, below to 426? Keeping this in mind with the Affirm move, looking to see what happens to that one. It's trying to go back through 17. It's been a good looking chart all morning long. I could have gotten on the VWAP like 3 or 4 times. So definitely missing this out right now, but we'll see. I've been trying to wait to at least 945. It's 942. And this looks like it wants to take off. And I could be missing the trade there. There's 1705s. Not a bad look there for Affirm.
Nice little move here for AI. Now bumping up against resistance at this 3750 area. But more importantly than that, you've got win. $100 went ahead and held. Look at that. What came as low as, what is the low on this candle here? 4 cents. $100.04. Nice little ripper. About $1.50. Going back to Carvana, would not be surprised. There is. I was going to say, would not be surprised if it kind of rejects the VWAP for a little bit at least, because you can see how this 1846 was holding on to support. Once we cracked it, now you've got it as resistance, especially when VWAP is like right here, right? So again, nothing will be 100% in life in terms of trading, but it's just bumping up against resistance. So it could kind of gather some more support here, some buyers to come back in and try to take it off. But for now, we're going to be patient and see if it wants to go ahead, because there's 2 ways that I enter this trade. One is at 17, as I've already talked about. The other is if it pops above VWAP and gets close to 19 and has a retest of approximately 1868 or so. Those are the only 2 ways that I would be willing to get back into this trade. I did go ahead and close the other contract that I do have, so I no longer have a Carvana position at all. I just wanted to make sure I could lock in my gains in case this completely just went ahead and fell. But that's what we've got going on there. If there's anything else. And there's the Qs as they go ahead and pop up above 50. And let's see what else is moving. So in terms of relative strength, obviously you've got Carvana, but taking a look at a couple of the other ones, you've got AI there as well. Amazon with a nice little move towards the upside here, chilling at 124. If you look left, you had that as support, cracked, resistance, came right back down. So no surprise that the 124 level is going to be a little bit of a resistance area. CXAI, we've heard about this one in the past. Let's go ahead and take a look at it again. Not one that I typically play, not one that I'm familiar with either. So I can't quite give you any insight. It looks like it kind of has had trouble staying above 12. And obviously when it does, it goes above 13. But yeah, not my best insight on that stock. I do apologize for that, as Carvana, again, trying to get above VWAP. Ooh, and look at how well, oh man, 40 cents off in terms of support on Meta, as it gives you a nice little move to the upside here. Let's go ahead and check out NVIDIA. NVIDIA previous close held on a support at the 374.75. Nothing here that I am necessarily interested in. If it does want to come back to VWAP, you could possibly try with a stop loss right down there. But again, not something that I would personally go ahead and take at all. 120 holding on to as resistance. If AMD gets above 120 and bases around it, I think could be a nice little long. And let's see what else we've got. Here are the Qs coming back to test at 350. You do have VWAP around this 349.55. Ooh, Carvana went ahead and got above. Now we're at $19. All right. But what do we do from here? I'm going to hang on. Not going to get in just yet. But nice little move on Carvana. There we go. And this is what we talked about, right? If we go to the 1 minute, you can see how it tried to hold on to this as support, came right back down because it couldn't quite get above it, gathered some more support here and buyers, and it finally was able to push through. Look at the volume increasing, right? Finally was able to push through. Now maybe we do get a test of VWAP right around here. Very small trend line here. This is nothing to put grandma's money in. Just kind of watching it. See if we do want to go ahead and test this VWAP at the 1877s. 18, let's see. Let's check something out. We could maybe. Oh, shoot. I meant to have a limit order and actually purchased it. Okay, I'm going to sell that because I want to make sure I have a good entry. All right, let's see if we can get in Carvana at around 1874. I've got 100 shares out to buy at 1874, which is right near VWAP. So right around here, looking to purchase, and my stop loss will just be 50 cents to the downside. Long ES, let's go ahead and check out the I'm interested to know why you're long here. Is there a, I know you talked about the imbalances earlier, but I'm curious why you decided to go long and what your actual entry price is. Oh, you're already in and out. Look at that. Speaking of ES, okay, hey, I am looking to have a futures trading show, right? So you guys remember how we used to do it back, about a year ago, I used to do it. I'm looking to have something similar with a prop firm. So if you guys would be interested in that, if you guys would kind of stick around, go ahead and just quickly give me a 1 so I can finalize details and we can get that going for y'all on Monday, if possible. So if you're interested in a future show, it'll be hosted by somebody else. And it'll be a prop firms type stuff. We could do some giveaways and things like that. If you'd be interested in that, go ahead and smash the 1 for me just so I can get an idea and show them that there's interest for people to watch. That way they can go ahead and make something happen. If you could let us know, that would be great. Here is Carvana. Again, I am not in. I am waiting for my entry at, where's my entry? 1874 is where I am currently patiently waiting. All right, this is awesome. Absolutely. All right, cool. We will make it happen then. Because I know Mitch has mentioned this in the past where, we want to give you as much trading content as much as possible. Find that fine balance between doing interviews, talking to executives, and trading as well. So we definitely want to find that fine balance as you've got Carvana looking to make session highs, currently about 20 cents off of that one. Did come down. Oh, man, did I miss it? Let's see. So this candle here, this is a 1-minute chart. The candle here, the low of this one is 1875. I missed my entry by a point. Excuse me, not a point. A penny as we were waiting at 1874, but that's okay. That is fine. It is the way the cookie crumbles. Awesome. Heck yeah. Looks like there's a lot of interest. That'll be great.
All right, a lot of topping action there on the Qs at 9:45, but I'm looking already at a firm pulling back here. The rule of three says up one, down one, up two, down two, up three. Looking for the down three action here to create support maybe towards like 80 and 70, and then take a nice lift off through 17. A firm trying to make the move right now at 1690s. I'm looking for a little bit more pullback. I might miss the move, but I need to get closer towards the 80s and 70s here if I want to take this trade.
Session highs on Carvana, 1939s, looking to knock on the doors of $20. But session highs on Carvana still kind of holding this little trend line. Again, it's a 1-minute thing. It's nothing serious. It's just up there for fun.
It's not a big deal, but that's intraday high, right? Not session high. Session high would include pre-market.
I'm sorry?
Do you include pre-market action in your session?
Oh, when I say session highs, no, I do not. Session to me, and you let me know if I'm using it wrong in chat as well.
I just want to
session to me is the
that.
trading session where it's the 9:30 to 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Or because if it was pre-market, I'd say it's looking to break pre-market highs.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that outlook, right? The way that I look about it is the session includes the pre-market. Intraday is what I would call that intraday high, just personally. But maybe I might be wrong too. Chat, let us know. What do you guys think for the definition, right? You know how so many things in finance, they're defined so vaguely. So it's always cool to kind of get it right? That's what we want to do.
Yeah, we'll move off of Carvana because we talk about it so much. But Trent, to answer your question, I am not in. I am looking to get in at approximately 1874s, which is right near VWAP if I possibly can. Or if we go ahead and break 20 and we kind of base around it, then I can go ahead and get interested. But at the moment, no, we traded it earlier, not in it at the moment. So we've got a couple of buys. We've got one at 17. We've got one at 1874. And then we're going to wait for $20. So it's kind of waiting for our orders to be hit, but not really in the trade right now. Well, let's see. So there's 19. Let's see if I need to move my orders a bit. No, I'm still okay there. I'll let you know if I do get filled, but let's move on to a couple of other tickers.
Long Affirm.
All right, you're long Affirm. Let's go ahead and put that puppy up.
Yeah, it's like down here. I'm trying to get it down here towards kind of like the 60s risk right now. So just got a nice little ad there. So looking to try to get, I have 72, going to risk off of like 58 here. So we could click it. Looking to see if it recovers through 17. So at least it seems to make sense on risk to reward wise. I tried to wait for this move. The big thing is going to be if the Qs can push right back to the highs. And I see them pushing right now. You can see that on the top right here. We'll see if it can get through that high. And then Affirm can push through 17.
Yeah, the Qs did go ahead and break that 350 and then came back down to test VWAP at that 349.50 and now back up above 350. Here we go. And let's see if we've got any other couple of moves. Win, again, we're going to need a miracle to have this trade work out for us, but $100 bounce gave you 2 points. But I've got 104 calls that expire tomorrow, so we need a ripper on this one. At least need us to close at 105s by the end of day tomorrow. Can we take a look at Palantir again? Yeah, we sure can. Let's go ahead and check out Palantir as that one's back down again below 15. I got filled on something. Okay, cool. I am in Carvana at 1874. My stop loss here. Let me go ahead and clean up my things a bit. One moment. Okay, there we go. We are in.
Getting that downturn here in Affirm. Going to see if it's going to be a wick action here, but it could stop me out here. It's coming down fast there, team.
My stop loss on Carvana is going to be approximately 1839s. That's actually where I just placed it. 1839s is my stop loss on Carvana. As let's see, CVNA. And here's the cool thing, right? Not cool, but here's the thing about trading is if you go ahead and wait for your entries and you don't chase, even if you're wrong on the trade, even if I lose money on this trade, I lose less than I would have if I chased, right? So it's kind of like, you've heard it so long. It's not about how well you win, it's about how well you lose. And by the way, I am using a couple of different brokers and I'm not having issues on toss. I am, however, getting stopped out. So I am out of Carvana. Went ahead and took a hit of approximately $40 on that trade. So I am out of
market
Carvana
washing.
as it does come down.
The Q's pull back there just really hurt us there. Didn't take the lift off through the highs, and it just rejected that move. I'm about to take a hit in the firm.
So here's what we've got going on. We talked about the SPY. We talked about the two levels that I was keeping an eye on. On the downside was the 426. On the upside was the 429.64. We're currently touching the downside at this 426, which has held on for support the past 2 days. So we'll see if today's the third day that we go ahead and find a bottom there, or do we go ahead and break it? If we break it on the retest, I'm interested in going short. If we hold on to it as support, I'm going to leave it be, not really going to trade it. So here's number 1. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, however you want to count it. And then here's the break of that support level to the downside, which means we're probably below the 350. You bet we are. And let's see how we behave. But for now, main focus for me is going to be on the SPY. And if Carvana can claim VWAP around 5 minutes, I'll go ahead and get back up again. But what you got?
You're good, man. I'm just seeing stocks that start propping here around 12. We'll see if the market takes a downturn. The SPY already doing it. The Q's now starting to take a downturn here, so that could stop me out. There you guys. I got hit there and Affirm pullbacks there in the Q's, washing me out of my Affirm trade here. So just not going well in the prop account. I'll tell you guys that. I'm at the point where I'm just ready to just take a swing with the prop account and just get rid of it because it just seems like, holy crap. Can't get back onto the boat after doing really well on this prop account for so long. One bad executional mistake, and ever since then, it's been ugly.
Yeah, it's funny. Someone in the chat mentioned the bids are higher than the ask. Yeah, I see that now. I see that. I see what y'all are talking about. But here we go. SPY not getting rid of the 426 to the downside just yet.
There you go, Raz. Put that up. Put a 2.0, baby.
Wait a minute.
And wouldn't you know it, the Q's just chop around some more. It just seems like this is that type of market where it's just so chop. Look at the SPY there. It wicks through. It comes back down through that level. It even goes through 426. And what does it do? It recovers right back to where the price action was. This is the chop game. This is where a lot of times retail just gives up their profits. That's where it's really hard right now. And I feel like swing trading is 10 times better than the day trading action right now.
You've got you've got AMD that's moving to the upside. So it popped up, tested VWAP, moving on up. We talked about the 120 area being the area to watch for resistance, as it could not break it below. Could not break it before. And now it has by 35 cents or so. And can I please take a look at play? That is Dave & Buster's, I believe.
Yep.
Play to the downside. That's 1. 2. I wish we could have helped you out a little bit earlier, because look at that. Your support broke and then it tested it and it held on as resistance, and to the downside we go. In terms of where is the next area of support, if you will, man, I am not too sure. But I can go ahead and try to give you some insights. I would say 37. As you can see, if you look left, you had this area's resistance. I would say you're about $1.20 away from support. But again, not a ticker that I play, but that's just what I'm seeing as quickly checking it out on ticker PLAY, Dave & Buster's Entertainment.
Could have got stop hunted there in Affirm as it came right back up after stopping me out, but that's just how it goes right now. AMB, a nice little strong move on the day. If you're looking for a strong move, look at that. AMB did a really strong day 2 days ago, really red day yesterday, strong day again today. And so that's tough to deal with, but you're seeing it back up there towards 120.39. We'll see what happens on the Qs. The Qs are just chopping around. Going to the top of the range, coming right back down, going to the top of the range, coming right back down. And what does this usually do? It makes you overtrade. a lot of the time as traders. So what am I going to do? Just literally hit the brake pedal as much as possible. If I don't have to trade again until 10:30 or 10:40 and then I start trading, so be it. Right now, this is just chop, chop, chop. And if you want to give up profits, hey, to each his own, but I don't want to.
All right, Carvana again, trying to stay above VWAP, having a tough time at the moment as it is rejecting. We just went ahead and made a quick little trend line and see if that wants to go ahead and hold. Let's go ahead and check out GME in the meantime.
Yes, the
Seems
bread
to
and
the
butter.
downside.
Swing trading, baby. I see you swing traders out there. Definitely catch, of course, start swing trading 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. where we talk all about the swing trading action. And if I look at my action in the swing trading account, I'm killing it. If I look at the day trading account, I want to put it to sleep.
I know we had a few folks that love trading Boeing. So here's what I've got on Boeing is it's brushing up against resistance on the 215. You also had the resistance on June. What is this? The 3rd, I believe this is. No, I lied. June 2nd. So if we can get above 215 base, you might have a chance to go ahead and play Boeing to their upside at around 215. Let's go back to CVNA as that is the talk of town. Again, trying to get above VWAP. Finally does. There goes 1885. Do we get a little bit of a move? Do I try to get it? Do I try to get it? Do I try to get it? Screw it. I'm going to try to get it. I'm in. My entry price is 1878. My stop loss is going to be the low of this 5-minute candle right over here. I'm only in with 100 shares. I'm going to look to see if we can get 20 bucks at least. I lied. 1950s or so. I'd be okay with it. All right,
I like that. I like that attempt to 18 that you had at least earlier. That was a nice little undercut and rally type of style trade there.
Yeah, look, we were in the
sideways.
We were in the money by 10 cents. So, I'm a profitable trader. I'm just not a profitable realized gains trader, if you will. But we'll see. Come on, make a nice little push. Let's go ahead and test the high of days again. Let's go ahead and test 20 bucks again. See what we can get. Can I get it? Let's see what else we've got going on.
The Q's just chopping, man. I think this is what's holding back trades right now, but it is building. It just hasn't made an up move. And so that's what I'm looking to see what happens there. WBD trying to recover VWAP. I know that stock and Paro were pretty strong yesterday. So keep your eyes on that. A firm just hanging in there, recovered 1640s. I'm keeping an eye on it, but the market needs to decide where we're going today.
Well, at the moment, you have the SPY that has found support at the area that we drew out, right? So the 426, you got yourself a nice little 50-cent move at least. So if you had a 50-cent stop, 50-cent profit, there you lock in your one-to-ones and you go ahead and move your stop loss up to break even. And now we see we can capture a point if we get to 427s. At the moment, Carvana, 4 cents in the money, nothing crazy whatsoever. I'm looking, so my stop loss is about 50 bucks, aka 50 cents. I'm looking to get at least above 19 and maybe 1950s to go ahead and lock in some gains. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and take another paper cut. You were going to talk about Palantir. I thought I did. My apologies. Let's go back to Palantir. We talked about that $15 level. Oh, yeah, I think I did talk about it. That 1450 area holding on to support. And we talked about this in the after hours, and that's kind of held on as well. So you're currently brushing up against VWAP here. For me, it's still 15 bucks. If you can go ahead and get above 15, maybe get a little bit of a base, then maybe you take it to the upside, and your stop loss is going to be below VWAP, which is about 30 cents or so. But if you wanted to grab it here, stop loss for me would be at least about 50 cents. Because if it goes ahead and breaks this low of day, then yeah, go ahead and get out. So it's kind of up to you in terms of your risk tolerance and what you're looking to do. But for me, either pop above 15 base, then you can grab it, or closer you can get it to 1438s, the better, as Carvana for the second time is going to give me a little bit of a paper cut as that's coming right back down below VWAP. Could not stabilize above. Where's my stop loss on this? There it is. 1822 is my stop loss on this one. Let's go ahead and bring it back up.
Yeah, I think it's just the Qs also. It gets up there right back to the highs and then just rejects it. So that's the hard part. We're not getting these momentum plays, I think, because we're not getting the momentum in the market.
AMD off of the break. No, I did not. I was too focused on Carvana to not take the better trade in hindsight, the 420 level. But
Did
here's the
someone
thing:
say
if
420?
420, I did say 420. I meant 120, but hey, 422 if that's your gist, the 120, yeah. If it comes back to test it, I think it'd be cool to try to go ahead and get into this one again. You can have a stop loss of about 70 cents because VWAP is right here. So I would say my first entry would be about this right here, 120. Second entry would be about 119.50s. Stop loss would be about 119.30s, give or take. For me personally, as Tesla is looking to make a high a day apparently, and yes, it is, and yes, it has. There's Tesla with a nice move to the upside, and we do not get stopped out of Carvana as we go ahead and hold on for dear life and see if we can get right back up. But still in the trade, still in the negative by approximately 12 cents. Someone's trying to make Nuggets joke at your pal.
Nuggets?
The Nuggets.
I mean, you can do the Nuggets jokes. I mean, it's all good. I mean, I like the Nuggets. I have a Murray jersey in the closet right now, so it's not going to be a stressful finals for me. Both my teams made it to the final. I'm not going to stress about it, Pat M. You can try to bring it up. The truth is, one team's going to win, one team's going to lose. The truth is, the Heat made it to the finals. They beat what? The Bucks. They beat the Celtics. They beat the Knicks. I mean, what else can I ask for, right? You're not always going to win the championship, but if you can make it to the championship, I don't think you could be mad at your team, right? There's the Qs taking off to the upside. So now I'll look to see if we finally start seeing some recovery action in the market. Will we get the upside move here? I think AMD is one of those that you could probably see maybe make another extension up. NVIDIA also at 382.90s. That looks strong. We'll look to see if those pull back, but those are strong right now. I'm seeing Uber up today. That's just an interesting stock that I just found up. But Affirm actually going lower with this move is just kind of boggling a little bit. So we'll see what happens if it does recover. Carvana also pulling back a little bit. Seems like our growth names, bro, just don't want to go. We're looking for that move. Now that the Qs move, maybe we get it, you know? I like that kind of bottoming action there.
Did go to get stopped out on Carvana for the second time. So pretty much what's happening is the money that I made on the options, which was about $500, I'm slowly donating it back via the equity trade, trying to get back in this one here as well. So we'll see. Now we kind of lay off and see how it wants to go and hold. Maybe it comes back to test the low of day here on the 1736, excuse me, 1763. Let's see what the Qs are doing. That's high day. You talked about that.
Next, Mitch is going to support the New England Patriots. I can tell you right now, if you ever see that, you guys, someone please take me out because someone has taken over. AI has taken over Money Mitch. I will never like the New England Patriots. I can tell you that right now without 150% doubt. I would never, ever say that I like the Patriots. I'm a Dolphin fan. They would disown me, man. There's only one way I like Tom Brady. I say this all the time. With grass in his helmet after he's been taken down by a sack by Jason Taylor. It's only one way, with a big old chunk of grass. All right, let's keep getting after it. Nice setup. We'll see if that comes back. Hughes trying to go higher, and then it just kind of wicks there. Come on, man. Killing me, Smalls. Seems like it's very hard trading lately. And I want to take a trade with the Mumu account, but I'm having no trend in the market overall. Sideways action on the SPY, and it continues. The rectangle box that I drew earlier today, right? Look at this. It's just staying within that. I'm not trading until it gets out of that range. I'm just literally going to not trade. Hands tied down. I'll just wait. Let it get out of this range. I'm looking for a move towards 427.50s. Or an actual close below 426. You have a couple of wicks today, but what did it do? It comes right back.
All right, come on. Let's see what else we've got. It's interesting. Yeah, we'll just see what happens with Carvana. I'm gonna lay off so we can at least reclaim VWAP. And if I miss it, I miss it. Maybe third time's a charm for it, but it may not get my money again. want to go ahead and keep the gains that I had on the options contract side of things. Let's see what else is going on. Do we get that test? Do we get that test on AMD? Let's see. Ticker AMD. I am going to go ahead and take this one. Let me go ahead and put it on my... All right. Pending order, buy limit, 200 shares, ticker AMD. Price is going to be about 120. Stop loss is going to be about 119. I lied. It's going to be about 119.25. We're looking to take gains at approximately 120. These on this one. All right, and then let's go ahead and come back here. Pending order. We're going to go ahead and purchase one of these at 119.50. Stop loss is going to be about 119.24. Looking to take gains at about 120. All right. I've got a couple of orders out there on AMD for those of you that might be interested. I've got 200 shares to purchase at 120 on the dot. Stop loss for me on that one is 119.25. Looking to take gains at approximately 120.50s on 100 of them and 121 on the other. Then I've got a second order for 100 shares at 119.50. And the reason being is because that's where VWAP is. So I'm trying to see if, hey, that 120 level is going to hold. And if not, is that 119, or excuse me, if that 119.50 level is going to hold. And I thought VWAP was a little bit here. Did I misread this? Or is it a different? Yeah, I was looking at a different time. And by the way, Carvana is right back up. But again, we're going to kind of ignore it. Apologize. A lot of slacks here.
Too much going on, man, today.
Yee.
It's one of those days, bro. One of those
All right.
days.
Did I get filled? Yes, I did. Cool. So I'm in 200 shares. Man, so stupid. If I said I wanted at 120, why is my average price 120.03? Whatever. We'll cry about it another time. But I'm in 200 shares at 120 on ticker AMD.
You going long or short, baby?
I am long. I am long AMD
Like
at 120. We'll see if we can go ahead and make some noise on that one. Let's go ahead and have a side-by-side. Where is it? 2 box. There's a 2 box. Carvana to your left because we're addicts. AMD to our right.
All right, seeing a firm. There was this like 5,000 order that just went through it just a little while ago. So I did see a little bit of bidding action just show up there. So I'm thinking about maybe taking one more shot here in a firm, but man, it has not done well so far. So just looking to see if there's some bidding action underneath bidding action, and I could see it there, but it's not taking it. That's the hard part. It's this big 5,000 order. Compared to like what's on the offer, there's not much. There's only 2,500 at 17. There's a 2,700 at 47. So he's showing up again there with 2,700. I see it move quickly too, and I'll show you guys that. I'm going to put up my Moo and you guys can see it here. Let's see if he pops up again on this bid side here where you'll see 2,700 or around 5,000 show up. And I'm looking to see if he can just bid it and keep bidding it. And then this turns around and goes through 1650s, like right there. You're seeing it try to get to the 1650 here.
All right.
Nice to bid action.
Come on down. Can I get it? Like in a short AMD at 121.83. Shoot, I hope it gets there.
It's not doing much, man. It's not doing much there.
And is that because of this? Is that because of this area here, Dave? Are you talking about the 122 area here? Because that's kind of like where it's like, hey, if I'm going to go ahead and get in this, I'm going to go ahead and take my gains type of thing that I was looking at. But we need a little bit of participation.
A lot of bidding action here. How's the Qs looking, man?
Qs are currently still above 350, but they're not as strong as they once were when they tapped the 150, the 351. We'll see if they're able to hold on to this 350 area, especially with VWAP right there as support. It would be nice for them to hold, but I am currently down a quota on my AMD trade as that one does look to come down and test the 119.50s. I didn't even realize I was humming or singing, Smoke Tuna.
Just keep it going, bro.
I think I remember the song. I don't remember the song.
So I did see that bidding action come into a firm. I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback, maybe 48s, 45 to risk off of 40s, but it'd be a really tight risk here. It's back to the 53s. It pulled back really quickly and then it came right back up. All right, so I'm looking for pullbacks of 50 to get in on the firm, but I don't want to jump too high. I need it to pull back. If not, I'm just over jumping and overstepping myself. See if I can get a pullback to 48 here. I have the order out at 48s to maybe risk off of 40 here. So I'm looking for a slight little dip and then a push right back up towards like 70. I'll let you guys know if I do get a fill, looking at a firm and looking to see if the Qs can finally just get out of this range, SPY get out of this range, make a move towards 427.50 on the SPY is what I'm looking to see what happens here. Of course, no pullback now for a firm, so I might just step up here at 50s if I want it. I hit 49 there. That's a little frustrating. I had 48s out. Now it's already to 60s, missing the move here, so just slow on reaction here.
I swear, you know, there was always friends that your mom tells you not to hang out with. Call me the friend or the trader that your mom tells you not to follow. I'm going to go ahead and try Carvana one more time. I'm back in at 1880s as I did go ahead and come back and take VWAP. And I swear I'm going to give back my gains that I have from the options contract if it is the last thing I do. At least on our AMD trade, we're up about 20 cents per 100 shares. So that's always nice. So we're currently up about 40 bucks or so. But our target on this one, the first one's going to be about 120.50s. And the second one is going to be approximately where do I have it? 120.81s is where I've got.
All right. I'm just leaving it alone. I didn't get the entry there. I watched the bidding action get in there on the 40s. Could have got in there at 45, 50s. Just completely missed it. Bad execution there. Should have at least had an entry already. And I don't want to chase up here at 1670s and then just watch it go back to 650s. And then I feel like a real duck. So I'll stay here. I'll keep watching the firm here to see what happens. But definitely I saw the bidding action come in. This is what I'm looking at on the 5-minute. The big thing will be if the SPY takes off that 427.50 run. Look, it gets to the top of the channel and it pulls back. The chop game. It's looking like it's continuing right now. We'll see what happens. A firm is propping there towards 1674s. Might have missed that move. It was about like 5,000, 8,000 shares that came in through here at the 1640s. And I think that one is probably getting sold into now, but we'll find out.
Yes, we are. Hernandez, we've got ImmuneBio. What's up, buddy? Welcome back. We've got ImmuneBio coming up later on today at 11 o'clock. And then we've got another interview tomorrow, I believe, lined up as well. So it'll be a fun conversation to have. A couple of things in terms of updates on my stocks. You've got Carvana, which was in the money, still kind of is in the money on the left-hand side. And we've got AMD that we were up about 20 cents on 100 shares. Now we're down about 20 cents on 100 shares. So we'll see how that trade breaks out. On the Qs, they're looking to make another high day. They just did on this 5-minute candle. Ryan, question for you.
Yeah.
Whenever you hear someone say session highs, are you thinking 9:30 to 4, or are you including pre-market in your interpretation of them saying that?
The regular session.
Okay, cool.
If someone's gonna talk about pre-market, they need to specify pre-market or after
Pre-market
hours.
highs, yeah.
If you say session, that to me means the regular session.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
How does Pro define it? Because when I do my like pre-market movers, I put it on session.
Session is so what you're talking. And let me share my screen.
Yeah,
we'll have a little
that's all
education section together.
Why not?
So what you're talking about is the period, right? That's what's in movers. So what this is asking you for is what period are you trying to get information on movers? If you select session here, it's going to find the parameters for the entire session. Now, movers is different, Mitch, because movers has a session control. So if I have pre-market selected, this is finding me all of the movers in the selected session, which is pre-market. If I leave session selected on period and I select regular for the session filter, then it's showing me all of the movers in the regular session.
All right. Well, thank you for at least walking us
Yep.
through that. That's what it's all about. Use Benzinga Pro, baby. Check it out, team. Link down below. And like always, you guys can check out Moo here. I haven't taken any trades because you guys seen how I've been doing on the day trading action. It hasn't been going well, but one thing I know that is very important is knowing when to hit the brake pedal, knowing when to hit the gas pedal. Right now, it's brake pedal on the Moo account, small account challenge. Why? I'm trying to save it, right? I'm not trying to use it right now because it just seems like this market is playing chop, 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 chop. Look at the SPY right here. Look at this move that it does. It goes right back to the top of that channel that I drew, the rectangle, and it comes right back down. It goes to the bottom of it. It comes right back up. The chop game, it continues out there. I'm not playing the chop. Forget a firm. Forget everything in the market right now until I finally see a damn trend. It ain't working right now.
You've got $19 coming up on Carvana. Let's see if we can pop above, and there's a pop currently at 19.09. So that's a nice little move to the upside. We're in the money by about 30 cents. We're looking again for at least 1950s, if not $20. Yeah, I agree on AMD. So again, I purchased, as I said, according to plan, I purchased my shares at 120, 200, and I purchased another 100 at 119.50s. So let's see how that kind of works out. It's not looking the greatest, but we do go ahead and hit session highs or try to break it on Carvana. We could not get new highs on that.
QBTS trying to break 250 here. It's being rejected there quite a bit. Was rejected there in the morning as well. It's got good volume though. Let's see if we can pop above 250 here on QBTS.
Oh, why, Elon? Why did you create Twitter to be such crap? Can't even post a video on Twitter anymore. It won't even process it.
Ooh, nice little pop. Where'd it go? Oh man, it came right back down.
QBTS through now, 252.
You want me to show yours?
No, I didn't take it. It's not really running away. It just broke through that level. There was a ton of stock there for sale and they took it all. So we'll see if that frees it up now and pull back right back down to VWAP. Wow, nasty pullback.
All right, our 1-to-1 has been met on Carvana, but we're greedy individuals, so we're going to hold on tight for the ride.
You savage. You savage.
You know, I'm just saying. So I just do this so I can go ahead and cry about it later. That's all it is. That's all it is.
No, man, I see you, man.
Per
Trying to flip it.
Shares. Hey, I'm just saying.
Where's my cheese? I'll tell you what. We're waiting for the cheese, because right now it ain't it, bro. It ain't it. It ain't it. Raz, I'm telling you, it ain't easy to determine not to trade. I think it's one of the hardest things as a trader to do is determine not to trade. I'm with you. Stay focused. Not forcing it, man. Even though firm looks good, that doesn't matter. We got to get in at the right spots sometimes. And if we miss a trade, so be it, right? I was watching the Affirm action. I could see that bidding action coming in there. I needed to get in below 650s so I could risk off the 640s to make sense for the profit to reward. We'll see if it gets up there back to 17, and we'll see what happens in the SPY, because look at that. You get up there, right back down. The chop continues.
All right, here is 1944s again on Carvana. What are we going to do?
That's this chart on the bottom right here for you guys that are looking at Carvana.
Woo! Yes, here we go. 1970s on that puppy now. We're up about $100 on 100 shares. Let's see if we can go ahead and hit. I'm going to go ahead and get out. Yes, I am. I'm out. Where's my flat button? All right, what was my fill? I'll tell you exactly what my fill was. 1980. 1980 is my fill on the out. I am out.
Not bad.
Of Carvana. Thank you. Third time's the charm.
Nice
Back
job,
in the green overall on the name?
My friend, I am down, not including the contracts. I am
down not including the contracts. Just talking about what you've been doing.
$9.40.
Nice clawback.
Hey, way to bounce back, bro.
No, I'm serious. I wasn't even joking.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah.
They got your butter chicken, baby.
I mean, here comes 20 though, right? So, okay, let's talk about the game plan from here on out. What we do on Carvana. Let me go to my mouse. Thank you. Here we go. All right, cool. So what's my game plan now? You've obviously got pre-market highs here at 2050, right? I expect, hope, want to see, whatever, it to go ahead and pop 20, test this 2050, get rejected, come back, and then maybe at this 20, I will go ahead and buy with the stop loss underneath 1950s. But we'll see if any of that comes to fruition or not. But nonetheless, I am out of this trade. Down $9.40 on the day on the equity side, but we're still up like I think it's I'll tell you exactly how much I made on the options contract side. Where is it? $400.77. So still quite green in that one. What I am not quite green in is my AMD trade, which is hanging out around 119.60s. 119.60s. We've got 200 shares with an average price of 120. We've got 100 shares with an average price of 119.50. So we do need this one to go ahead and come right back up and hold on to this VWAP. And there is Carvana crossing $20.
There's a firm back to 1690. So I missed that buy earlier. Had the opportunity, just missed it, and so be it, guys. Just not going well so far, at least this week, and ever since Friday, really last week, it's just been ugly.
Take care, Holland. Have a good day. Hope to see you back soon. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Raz.
Square.
You cracked pre-market high. Dave, are you talking about Carvana? Because we didn't crack it on Carvana, unless you're talking about another ticker, pal.
SPY tops again there, right at around the same level, 427.39s, 427.41s. Can it get to the 427.50? Been talking about that level, or will it just come back to the VWAP and chop more?
Smoke Tuna says, just got out of Carvana. I've been bag holding for almost a year, and I finally got out with profits. My man.
Hey, man, nothing like holding the bag, baby.
I am curious, though, how many, thank you, Sal. I am curious how many folks are in the red from GME, AMC, and are still kind of hanging on for dear life. Very curious.
SPY trying to make the move there. We'll see if it makes the move. If it does make the move, I think the firm could take off to 17 today. It was definitely one of my top watches, but just kind of missed it there when it was at 650s. It does look like it's trying to stair step its way to 17. We'll see if it takes off through 17 and pushes to new highs. NVIDIA has been one of the stocks that have been strong, catching a little bit of a bid there at the VWAP, trying to come back up through 385. AMD is another one, right? We'll see what happens to those. Microsoft was weak yesterday, now starting to try to make a move above the 325 to 326. We'll see if that does happen or not. Qs overall, just on a slow stair step move. I'm not seeing the breakout that I thought I'd see to the upside. So I have a feeling later in the day, maybe we see a downside action move. But the truth is, nothing is telling me to trade right now. It's just telling me to stay on the sideline.
Apple Pie, I'm curious what your friend's average price is, and if that friend is kind of like well off and the money that they've got in it, they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, or, you know, what the situation is there. What do I think of Baba? It's interesting because based on your name, Baba means like, you know, elder, father, but we'll go ahead and take a look at the ticker. We've talked about it earlier, which is why I've got these lines drawn. 86.98, so call it 87 resistance area. Wait for that to go ahead and pop up to the upside. If you're trying to play the breakout, if you're trying to play this intraday, it keeps finding support around this VWAP area of this $86. So if you wanted to go ahead and take a quick, hey, I could get a quick little washout, you could take this one. But for me, it's a level above 87 on BABA. Let's go ahead and see what.
Holy moly, the chop continues. It's just chop sessions. I can maybe go after like a stock sell, but that's also stocks S, but that's also what? Trying to front run the move. I'm done front running moves right now in this market. Seems like it just wants me to overtrade and give up gains.
All right, stopped out of AMD. So say bye-bye to AMD. We'll go ahead and test this one again as it did go ahead and breach this area here. But if it does come back above 120, could get interested one more time. But for now, I am out. I am out. I am out. I am out.
And wouldn't you know it, a firm gets up there to 1690s and it pulls right back. And the SPY is just playing around here at the top. Multiple tops on the wicks, actions on the 5 minutes, but nothing closing above the kind of like the 427.50. One thing to keep watch there is you see it there, the SPY. Will it make that move above into the 427.50s? It's just been in this sideways consolidation and not really going anywhere, but just kind of slowly working its way. And then it pulls back, slowly working its way. It pulls back.
See what else is going on. Carvana did go ahead and get a bit of a, I don't know, call it a knife, but a little bit of a downside move below 20.
MGRX looking like it's going to try and take highs at 240 again on MGRX.
Man, this is one of those days where I'm ready to go take a nap. This market is just not doing much for me today. MGRX just hanging up there. Yeah, it could get going. Let me see the daily highs here. There's some resistance that's coming into play here. I think it's holding it up around the 219s. Now you're back towards the 230s. Next level there is 250. We'll see if we make it to the 250 today. Don't know what this one does. It looks like medical care. At least medical care space has been getting a little bit of a lift lately. It's up on the day. Raz says it's been doing something. It's been taking my money. Yeah, it's hard, man. Caleb says, try another stock. Some things are moving. Yes, but not continuation moves. It's just moves to the top side of the range and then slow down. I haven't seen anything really kind of be on breakout mode. Like, look at even Carvana, right? Even that move, right? It did go up to the top of the range, but then it pulls right back down. That's not the trade that I'm looking for. I'm looking for continuation trades to push higher. And so with that being said, I'll just stay on the sideline right now. It's not much out there until the SPY wants to pick a direction. Here, at least we're getting an attempt to the push on the upside, 427.58s now. As we try to close up here, we'll see if we close up on that, or do we just put a wick? 5 minute just went up there.
And of course, AMD, after I get stopped out, moves right back up to the 120s. Thank you. Thank you, AMD.
Out to do gardening before South Florida heats as hot as Hades. Yeah,
Smart.
Sabrina, definitely. I agree with that. And South Florida, I'm pretty sure it's already there, because I can tell you, South Florida, man, it's just, man, it's like 90s by the time it's March. We'll look to see if we take off today and finally keep pushing. SPY is trying to make that move. Affirm just trying to just stay in the zone here for a 17 push. I completely missed it down there at 1640s, so I'm not going to chase up here at 1690s. It doesn't make any sense, but it could push through the 17. It was one of my top stocks today. I got stopped out of it earlier, and I'll see if it later in the day makes that move to 17 and pushes higher. It is a stock that I like, but the truth is, missed it, didn't execute it down there at the 1640s and 50s when I saw the bid action come in, and the SPY right here, just kind of playing around here. There's that wick, and it could just turn into a red candle. You see, like right there, it was making a green candle here. Let's see if it turns to a red candle, or does it hold the 427.50s? If it goes red, well, then it could be right back into this box, right? We'll see what happens.
Crow, I think you're looking at a curl on Acon. Ticker
Yeah, so am I.
ACON. What's up? What you got, Ryan?
Really, with this 140 area, pretty interesting here.
Yeah, especially when you've got a base of 130 holding on to support. So I think you've got a clear stop loss of 129s or so to go ahead and get out.
Yeah, I'm going to try some Acon here. Might be a little early. We'll see. Like Zunaid said, stop here is actually going to be 132, 131. That'd be low a day. We'll see if we can curl, get back towards the VWAP, and maybe push through it here on Acon. My price, 138, long 138 here. This is not the Moo account. This is just the main account. Reduce size.
Well, my friend, I hear you going after that one, and the only thing that I'm looking at on that chart is I'm like, hold on, is this really? Are you Akoning it here, man?
Smack that. 2 years, smack that.
I saw that coming.
Smack
Yeah.
that.
I was surprised you didn't do it earlier.
Smack that.
I got the video going, baby.
You got a name, cop?
Oh man, I haven't seen Akon in a little while here, baby.
Yeah, see, now we are definitely DMCA.
Bringing it back, baby.
I like my OL.
Oh man, the old days with the Akon.
Yeah, we'll see if this one's able to get back near VWAP itself or not.
The chat loves it. I love it.
The chat's like, I went to an Akon show in Dubai. Smoked tuna. How is that? Akon
I
Dubai.
bet that was out of control.
Oh man. The video is not too bad, at least.
Pulling the parking lot slow with the lockdown. Convicts got the whole thing packed now. Step in the
That's a
club,
little
the
jam to that.
intact now.
AMD continuing to move above 120s.
We used to have some good music, man.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. No question.
Nah,
about
you
it.
know, I'm gonna play my favorite one here. This was my favorite one, right? I know you guys know this one.
Is it Barbie Girl?
I don't think so, Zunaid.
All right, let me get to the
Yeah,
chorus
that.
here.
Is it Locked Up? It sounds like Locked Up.
Hey, you know my man.
I'm steady
There you
trying
go.
to
Find the motive. Wanna do what I do.
I used to jam at
Freedom ain't
these.
get no closer. No matter how far I go. My car is stolen. Stole the registration.
I'm just trying to imagine Mitch
Patrolling.
listening to this in these streets.
Now they don't lock me up. I get locked up. They won't
Ryan
let
got so
me
sick of your
out.
shit, he left.
I left.
They
I
won't
was
let
like,
me
this is out of
Locked up.
control.
You're right. I'm out. Go,
No,
let him have his solo. Let him
they
have his
won't
solo.
let me out. Guys, I was rocking that, man. That was my age right there. That was 7th grade. I was wearing the white tees. I was having fat
White
farms
tees.
on my feet.
Okay.
What? I was rocking it.
I respect
G
it.
Unit.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Oh,
So I'm
trust
still
me.
in Akon. We're down here. We might
I
get
was
stopped
rocking
out.
it all back then.
Oh boy.
That's a violation.
Oh, that's for sure. For sure. No question. For sure, we are not.
Oh,
This
you
is
guys know it.
unmonetized. Here's Carvana looking to get back above 20. Let's see if it'll stay above 20.
That Akon day, baby.
If it breaks
I know.
this, we're out on Akon. Does he have a song that's we're out? Because that'd be
Probably,
that'd be
strike
helpful.
3. You're
I was trying to put smack. You know what you do? You
Smack
go
that.
to your corner and you play Lonely. Lonely would be the song for that one.
Man,
I
that's the
won't do it
ultimate
to you,
breakup
but
song back in the day.
that was Zunaid's song right there.
Oh, dude, yeah. Whenever you're sad, it's raining, like I'm in a Bollywood movie. Oh yeah, that's what I jam to, baby.
Smash it out there,
MGRX
dude.
pull back to VWAP here. We'll see if it holds that.
You're out, mystery. Have a good one, man. No take. No worries about it. We all sometimes got to bounce.
Let's see what else we've got.
Don't worry, Talking Bread. I won't go on The Voice anytime soon.
Should we try it one more time? AMD. Yeah, why not? All right, we're gonna try AMD again at
Oh,
120.
here we go.
Nice mention in the chat here, XOM. I like this for a short here. I'm actually going to try to get in here and start getting a position.
Say MM. Oh, MIMO. I'm like, that is not going anywhere. All right. Yeah, not a ticker I'm going to trade, but I think you've got clear areas of resistance and support.
All right, shorting a little bit here of XOM. Just got a little bit short there. Want to add to this position. Want to start getting short some oil game here. 79 right now is the risk. It's about 40 cents risk here. Wanted to see if I can get it back towards the 50s and start adding to this position. We're going to look to see if oil could break down today. It's just going sideways here, and that's what gives me at least an ability to maybe take a shot here.
Don't do what, Dave?
Don't do it, Sunaid.
There are a lot of things I shouldn't do in life. You got to be a little more specific than that. PRST moving. Yep. Something weird though. Not something I'm going to trade because the volume looks a little wonky.
All right, not seeing much pop back. I'm looking for a little bounce here towards the 50s and 58s to add even more on ExxonMobil, but might just try to jump on here.
And there's the 125 holding on as resistance still on Amazon.
All right, oil cracked to the 72s. That's kind of what the outlook that I've been looking for a while. I just got to take a kind of a swing trade action too. So I'm going to take a swing trade also here. So I'm in it differently. I'm in it for a day trade and a swing trade here. Just took it on the swing trade account and going to start adding here on the day trade. Just added one more 100 shares there. Now I'm at 108.37s. Going to look for this to start cracking down. But if it bounces to VWAP, I will be adding on XOM. We'll see what happens.
Oh, don't go long on AMD.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No worries, man. The key is always having your risk to reward, right? That's what it's all about. That's what we're here for.
That's actually why I took the Acon trade, because where we were on that curl, we really weren't far away from a stop. So if the trade goes against me, it's probably going to be not even a $50 loss with the size that I had. So risk reward is the reason I took it. If we bust through that, go to the VWAP and go higher, that's 3-1 in terms of, the sell point for the profit versus the stop out. So risk to reward, that will often dictate a trade. And if you put yourself in better risk to reward setups on a regular basis, you're going to extend your profitability out. It's going to help you minimize losses and also maximize the gains that you do get in the trades that work.
Like that outlook there. Starting to see a little bit of a bounce here in XOM. I'll add at 58s.
There's AMD. I'm going to get rid of 100 shares here near 120.50s. I'm going to hold another 100 shares to see if we can get it to 121s. Stop loss for me is going to be now right back at 119.50s. That way we don't lose trade. We don't lose anything on the trade itself. Can we get right back above and go to 121s, please? By the way, Carvana just straight down. What's up?
Yoshi is saying Acon is toxic. I mean, dilutive. They're cash negative. Risk is too high. Totally get that. One of the things with some of these smaller stocks like this, there's definitely more inherent risk. You're absolutely right about that. But I'm able to try and play them for a technical setup. So right here, I have very, very clear parameters on what's going to make this trade work and what's going to make this trade not work. We've carved out a huge range here. We were as high as 177 in the pre-market. So if it gets any type of reversal on volume, it might be possible that those levels come into play. So you're right about the risk. But again, kind of going back to the whole risk management thing, I've set up a trade here where I'm exposed to any potential upside move, but have a plan for getting out with a very, very small loss in the event that the trade doesn't work. So again, this is another example of setting up proper risk management, and risk to reward can allow you to trade some of these things that are a little bit more risky. No guarantee that it's going to work, of course, but it is what it is.
That's the way it goes, baby. There's no guarantees in anything that has to do with a little gambling. All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and head out and get ready for the interview, but nothing for me. It's just AMD. We've already kind of talked about our game plan there. That one's moving in our favor, so can't complain. We're already locked in half of our gains, and the rest we'll kind of hold on tight and see how things go. But I'll be back in about 15 or so. See you.
Man, the SPY, I talked about this early on, and it's just continuing it here, team. Look at this. It's just kind of really trappy. Will we ever make that move to 428? Yeah, if we make that move, you could see stocks get a lift, but the chop has been hard to play with today.
Crow saying, Ryan, it looks like it's still consolidating for a bit more. And that's fine, right? The more we consolidate here and compress, the more likely we are to get a break out of this level. Obviously, I'm positioned for the upside, but if it doesn't work, I'll be ready for that too.
That's what it's about, man. We'll just keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens here in just a few minutes. We'll be joined here. We'll get into ImmuneBio. Stick around, team. We got a lot more for you guys. All access coming up at 11 a.m. Yoshi says, thanks for explaining your mindset. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
We'll always do that. And if you
Yep.
ever want to hear our mindset on anything, just let us know. That's 100% what we're here for.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I would add to that, Mitch, is just because I take a particular trade in a stock, that doesn't necessarily mean I like the stock. In this case, we're identifying that we're trying to day trade. There's no way I would hold the stock overnight, no matter what it does. Here today, I would close that, right? So your point about it being dilutive is it's spot on. And if there was a huge run today, might they dilute those shares anymore? All things that you have to consider when taking one of these trades. I'm down here near the stop. So really, if this gets to 130 here, we're going to be out.
All right, guys, we got about 300 shares at 108.39. Going to look to maybe add some more here. I just added a little bit more there on XOM. Looking for it to really crack down here through the 40s and go towards the 108. We'll see what happens. Now I got about 400 shares. Going to take a bigger swing on this as it keeps building up. If we do start to crack, I will be looking to even add at resistance. So I will use like 5-minute charts for that. I'm looking for a breakdown of support and then using that as resistance. That's a breakdown of the 108.37s and then using kind of the 108.37s as resistance. We'll see if that happens today.
Which chart is this, Mitch? Sorry.
That's XOM. I got you. I can show you that right here. So this is the longer term support. You can see how it's been going sideways here since yesterday's breakout. And I'm looking to see if we can break on the downside of it and make a move to 108. From there, I'll look to see the stock kind of do this move to 108 and then use this kind of 37 as resistance. And then that's where I'll be looking to add for another move on the takedown to 107.50. We'll see if I get it today. Taking my shot there in XOM. Another one that you guys can look at, of course, let's go to the Explore tab, see what else is going on. Internet retail, Carvana showing up there. Of course, that's making a move. Broadcasting, live streaming, Billy. I've heard PDD mentioned in the chat, so you guys are not too far off there. Silver making a move there today. Internet of Things. NVIDIA up about 1.97, but I don't see too much in the market today. And I see a pretty much mixed market in the advance and decliner distribution here. So you can see about 4,105 stocks in the green between 0 and 3%. And you see 4,398 stocks in the red between 0 and 3%. So what does that show me? A lot of indecision on the day today. When I want to see a certain area kind of leading. If anything, it's red leading from the downside action here. So we'll see what happens on the day if we can ever get that lift. All right. You're looking at NQ, looking at a little bit of some futures there, I think, Tyler. Not bad. I think you'd be truly interested in the show that Zunaid's working on for a little bit of some futures action. All right, good call on the firm. Day high. Yes, Steve. I might have not played it the right way, and that's not what it's about too, right? I'm not just only here to kind of maybe make every type of trade perfect, right? But a firm was definitely one that was my top watch today. A nice little move there towards the 1722s, and could have definitely played it here on the 1650s. That would have been a really nice trade here. Would have been about 4.3% move to the upside, and I'd been looking for this 17 break. Next levels for me is looking at the hourly. I start looking for the next resistance around 1730s. Then from there, I'd be looking for a move to 1680s or 1780s. Big push towards 18 would be a really nice play there for a firm today. Nice little pullback with a mention of Amazon. I think this could, even by the end of the day, maybe be up there towards 19. We'll find out what happens in a firm. All right, it's about 10:47. We got about 13 minutes left till we get to all access. We're going to keep trying to go here, team. I know it's a little bit slower action today, and I'll keep pushing. And Steve saying you helped me in at 1644s. Hey, well, at least somebody was able to nail it. Like always, you guys choose your own investment advice, but glad that you were able to take that money, Steve. So at least somebody was able to kill it. All right, we'll see what else is going on there. If we can continue to see these stocks climb, a firm looking decent there and still battling in my XOM. It's just hanging out here at the 108.50s.
One thing to keep in mind, Mitch, you were just talking about, Steve was talking about how you helped him. Even if we identify a potential setup in play,
Yeah.
if you're clicking the buttons and you're putting your own money at risk, you're the one that's actually executing that trade. So
100%.
glad we can help you find a process. Glad we can help you find targets. But the actual execution, no matter what, is always going to come down to you. So we're happy to help in any way that we can. Hopefully, some of the call outs and the things that we're finding help you. But at the end of the day, remember, win or lose, it's all going to come down to you and how you actually execute this. This is why Mitch and I talk about having a plan. If you have a plan, we believe that no matter what skill level or account balance you're at, you're going to execute better if you're following your plan.
100%, guys, and that's what it's all about. All right, at the end of the day, I talk about this also, right? Discipline and taking your trades. Always give yourself a pat on the back if you're doing what you expect to be doing, right? If it's following your system, give yourself a pat on the back. And I think that's important, even on losses, right? Sometimes we try to kill ourselves too much mentally because we took a hit. The truth is, how did you trade that? Did you trade it with your system? Did you make errors in your execution? If it's errors in execution, I understand why you can be frustrated. But if you took it as your system trade and you just didn't end up into the green, it's okay. Give yourself a pat on the back and keep repeating that process, because that's what trading is about. It's not about worrying so much about the results. Is this going to be a winner or loser? It's more about trying to find a repeatable process that you can come in every single day, wash out that kind of negativity that maybe happened from a negative trade, and just keep repeating that. Because when we work in probabilities in our favor, that's truly how we start ending up in the reward. All right, big battle here now. XOM back towards 108.63s. Could squeeze me out at the 108.80s levels. I'm thinking about adding up here, but I'm trying to keep it slow. So for right now, I'm just going to leave it alone. We'll see if this comes right back down and crushes through the 108.37s. All right, it's about 10:50. I still haven't taken a trade in the Moo account. You guys see me, and there's not many times in this account where you have seen this, a 3-day lull. I haven't taken a trade in 3 days. Why? Just because I feel like the market isn't picking a direction, and that's a lot of it, right? You guys can see the month of May, we were taking trades almost every single day here. There was some times, of course, that I didn't take it, but the truth is that there's going to be times where we got to be patient. And right now is the time to be patient for me. I'll see what happens on the market to see if we can finally start picking a direction and really start making a move. Let's go to the Qs here. Let's just take a quick look here. We are making a little bit of an up move here, but just kind of slowly grinding higher. SPY finally made a move there to 427.70s and finally started closing above the 427.50 level. And that was right here when we started actually kind of basing here at the 50s. Now let's see if the stocks kind of have a tendency of going. What's in the green? Consumer cyclical, technology, healthcare into the green. In the red today, basic materials, real estate, and financial services taking a little bit of a downturn. Even the KRE that had just made a move above the 42s, now pulling back. I'll look to see if it pulls back to the 42s and catches a little bit of a bounce. All right, that's going to probably do it for us. In just a few seconds, we'll be joined. It's about 10:52. It's been one of those days where it's a little bit slower in the market. And it's kind of hard to stay on when it's days like this. But we can just continue looking around to see and exploring different kind of stocks out there. Let's look at the heat map here. What's standing out to me? Apple back into the green today. NVIDIA up about 2%. So definitely a strong day there in NVIDIA. Amazon bouncing back today. Alibaba, so internet retail, really doing well. I can see here only one stock into the red there, and that's Etsy. But that was pretty strong yesterday. And is Etsy really in the red? Let's take a look here from the open. From the open approach here, you can see it did do a little bit of a dip, but it's kind of like a red to green move here. I'll show you guys that in 1 second. But definitely interesting to see Etsy kind of doing a little bit of a red to green, now starting to get above the VWAP. We'll see if this can rise higher. And definitely retail is where we're seeing a lot today. Chinese retail also, PDD having a nice day, Baba having a nice day. Keep your eyes on names like that. What about JD.com, right? JD.com having a nice little day, 37.33s. We'll see if this can continue to push. Amazon had a really red day yesterday, bouncing back today. Did Shop get the lift also with Amazon? You can see it red to green there on Shop. We'll see what happens. All right, that's great coverage. I appreciate that, Crow. Appreciate the comment there. And that's what it's all about, guys. Keep going on, keep pushing forward with your skills. That's what we'll always be here to do. And that's what live trading is really all about.
That's right.
All right, seeing different stocks, just trying to take a look at to see what can hold on today. DraftKings is an interesting one, just overall chart-wise. Keeping an eye on a stock like this. Let's take a look at the daily here. You can see here how kind of you've been holding on to the highs. It's been trying to push here and hold on to 25s. We'll see if this can continue driving higher. I've been waiting to see if one day if Penn can actually move, but I don't think that will ever happen. It feels like it. This thing has just, when it even gets an up move, it's like maybe like 30, 40 cents, and then it's right back down. This used to be a big mover, Penn. It just can't move.
There might be another one in its future, though, I think.
Yeah, I know how that can go. All right, we'll see what else is going on out there, team. We got still a little bit more here. Trying to catch up with some comments in the chat. You still in Acon?
Still in Acon. Haven't hit my stop target yet. Hasn't hit my stop target. Hasn't broken out. Volume's really dried up. Was definitely trying to play off this curl, kind of head faked by this volume in it now. So I'm waiting. We just talked a lot about having a plan, right? Plan here was stop at 130, looking for a break up to the VWAP and then hopefully breaking through the VWAP. So that's what I'm waiting for here, right? Those are my two triggers. I know I'm kind of hanging out near that stop. Volume's dried up, but I'm going to wait for this to materialize.
Can't blame you. I'd like that move, especially if you can get a nice big bar through the 137 towards the 147, like a nice little bullish engulfing look, right? We'll see if we get that and start getting that Acon a little bit higher. You guys saw me have a little fun with Acon earlier. All right, XOM rejecting the VWAP. Not a bad look there if I wanted to start adding here in the 53s. So I'm going to add one more time and just keep slowly working this position bigger and bigger up towards 108.42. So at least I'm not too far from the price action and just going to continue to work it. We'll see what happens. The teamwork makes the dream work. Always, Dano. Mimo last push as the Crow. I haven't taken a look at Mimo at all.
That's a penny stock that really moved heavy through its VWAP here at 22. We topped out around 30, 32, 33, maybe. Yeah, topped out at 33 here. It's consolidating, so maybe there's another push here. That's probably what Crow is referring to.
Yeah.
This last push up towards the highs.
All right, now back towards 42s here on XOM. I'm thinking about adding one more. I'm taking a little bit of a bigger chance here, but I'm taking my shot, guys, especially to bounce back in this prop account. So now I got 600 at 108.42. Looking for a big breakdown towards 108. All right, this is one of those days where I got to take some shots, but also got to keep always things in the forefront, right? We'll see if this pattern does break down. It's kind of like a symmetrical triangle look now. I'll kind of draw it out here. I'll draw some trend lines here. So you guys can see this top line kind of just rejected there. The bottom line support, we're looking to see if it can break down and just make this move towards like 108. Kind of head down there towards the 108.26. Break towards the 108. That's what I'm looking for. We'll see if it happens or not. Rank couldn't hold, says Steve Alexander. I'll take a look at that. Mimo sounds like somebody's grandma, says Caleb. I like that one.
That's true.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Ryan, any last comments on the market?
Yeah, again, one of the things we were watching is is tech going to be down 2 days in a row? Looks like so far that they're trying to bounce it. We'll see how big that bounce is. Some bids flowing in here now to Acon, getting a little bit of a volume popping right back up to that entry. We'll see if it can turn this around. Here's what I'm talking about. So see if we could break through this level. What I would really like is a move to VWAP and then hopefully through VWAP. We'll see if we get that Acon gear in here.
All right, we'll see what happens if Akon can make that move. I know I didn't have my charts up there, so I'll show you guys that symmetrical triangle and look like I'm getting the breakdown that I was looking for. Now we'll see if this can continue going in my direction and I can take a big win in ExxonMobil. We'll find out. You guys can always find out when on Start Swing Trade, of course, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. Find out what happens in this XOM trade. You guys will have to wait till then. I'll see you guys at 3 p.m. Eastern, of course. Now let's go ahead. Let's bring down my charts. Ryan, I hope you have a great day, my friend. Take care. Always good being with you, my friend.
Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's bring on Zunaid. Let's get ready to go into the all access mode. But great day today. Zunaid battling back in Carvana and now going to take over and get you guys into another great interview like always. You guys stick around and check out my man Zunaid. Great interview coming up. ImmuneBio. Let's take a look at it. I'll definitely look into the story.
I appreciate that, man. And there's so much, conversation to be had about bio companies. And of course, we've got a great one here with ImmuneBio as well. And I'd love for y'all in the chat to go ahead and kind of interact with us as well. So if you've got questions that you want answered, I know this should be a great interview. We won't hold back. If we're able to ask them, we definitely will. But we are going to have a great interview with David Moss from ImmuneBio, ticker INMB. All access starts right now. David, thank you so much for hopping on.
Hey, Zunaid, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate you taking the time. I'd love to dive into the nitty gritty things here in a moment, but if you could just kind of explain it to me like I'm five, what is it that your company does?
So this little protein you see behind me, we think is going to change the world. It's the most interesting little, we're really in love with what we have back here. It's a protein that targets something called soluble TNF. Some of the readers may have heard about TNF. They're the largest selling, the anti-TNF drugs like Humira, Remicade, Enbrel, largest selling drugs on the planet, but they're stuck in autoimmune disease, things like rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's, psoriasis. They sell close to 50 billion a year, all of them. And they have a little problem, and that is that they immunosuppress patients and they cause problems in the brain. And our little protein back here, it's a next generation TNF inhibitor. It does what those do, but it does it better. And it does it better because it's not immunosuppressive, it's immunosupportive, which means that we can use it in a lot of applications like Alzheimer's disease and other areas where you have chronic inflammation. So that's what we're pursuing in the clinical trial. We're taking this drug, it's in mid-stage clinical trials in Alzheimer's. It'll do treatment-resistant depression, but as applications in ALS, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, and on and on and on. It's got a wide use of applications.
Yeah. You mentioned Alzheimer's, and that's where I want to go next because you recently had some exciting preclinical results for XPro, showing how it can help prevent Alzheimer's related pathology with, traumatic brain injuries and different things like that in mice. But what can you tell me about those results and what it can mean in humans though?
So we've actually completed a phase 1 trial in humans, and we have a lot of human data now. And what we show is that we decrease neuroinflammation dramatically. And when you do in the brain, about 50% of the immune cells in the brain are immunologically active, and they start doing their job again. They start to repair the brain. They start to repair what are called neurons and synapses, which is where the memories are stored and where the information is transferred. And when you repair that, actually you can repair, we see remodeling, which is repair in the brain of a 70-year-old patient, which means that we think we can stop cognitive decline, actually maybe improve it. And if you can do that, that really halts the disease of dementia. So that's our goal. It's different than what's been done in the past, because if you look at the trials that have been done in the past, they've all been targeting what are called amyloid and plaques. Everybody's familiar with that. There's been some drugs that have recently been approved in that area, but it doesn't stop the course of the disease. It just changes the downward slope. It's a little less downward, but you still decline. Our goal is to flatline them, just flatline the decline. And by getting rid of neuroinflammation and doing it the right way, it's really critical. You have to do it the right way. The brain starts to heal itself. And, we had patients in our phase 1 trial. It is early and it is an unblinded trial. But we had patients that were on the drug that, we had, for example, one patient who was a professor, couldn't remember students' names, couldn't remember his mathematical formulas. And after being on Expro, he went back to work. He was able to remember names and so on. And why is that? Because the neurons, which is where the memory is stored, that's where, for example, this mathematical formula is stored, wasn't gone, but we helped repair the synapses so he could start to recall those things again. And we're running a phase 2 trial now. It's open in Australia. It's open in Canada. It will be open in the US towards the end of this year. That trial will be completed, and the data will be out towards the end of next year. And that trial is going to tell us what we do with cognition. Do we flatline it? Does it do better than the existing drugs, or does it not work at all, or does it improve? And that'll be a major milestone. If we do what we think we're going to do, it'll change the world.
So I want to understand something here. And by the way, we do have your presentation deck. So if you want to refer to anything, because I'm a visual learner. So if you ever want to refer to anything, feel free to ask for that and we can do it. I don't want to simplify things, but you mentioned something interesting about the person who was able to go back to work, right?
Sure.
Am I correct to assume that, hey, when you're dealing with Alzheimer's, the information that you have that you can recall is still in your brain, but you don't have access to it? And that the drug you're working on kind of unlocks the door so that you can gain access to it? Am I correct in understanding? I know I simplified it, but
no, it's a very, very good question. It depends on where you are at the disease, right? So you have two things. Alzheimer's is really a simple disease. We've made it complicated. You have two things going on. You have the neurons, which is where the memory is stored. That's where your girlfriend's name is. It's where your mother's name is, for example. That cell, if it dies, it's lost. That memory is lost forever. Think of your computer. You have the memory. That's where the memory is stored. If the memory blows up, you lost that memory. And then you have the synapses, and those are the wires that transmit the memory, right? So what happens in Alzheimer's disease early in the disease is those wires break, right? And they go first, and then the neuron dies. So if you can catch the disease early, like we did with this fellow, we repaired the synapses, the memory wasn't lost. And so he was able to. But once that neuron is gone, we don't resurrect and rebuild neurons. So like anything, you want to catch the disease early. If you get cancer early, you have a better chance versus if you catch it late. In Alzheimer's, if you do it late, it's too difficult. So actually, it's a good thing for investors. If you're looking at companies doing Alzheimer's trials and they're in the middle to the late stage of patients, I'd say good luck.
Really? Okay. Well, let's talk about someone else that might be in the market, right? We've talked about Alzheimer's drugs. I want to talk about the developers and what kind of generally happens in the M&A space in the area that you're currently in. Any insight from you on that?
So, we're a company with two platforms. Given the time, we only have, there's the pipeline chart. We're talking about Expro, which is the Alzheimer's drug. It's the next generation TNF inhibitor. And then we have ImmuneBio. And, in the neurodegenerative space or the CNS space, there's been a lot more activity recently, especially with the Eisai Biogen news and what's been going on with Eli Lilly and their drug to near approval. We haven't had as much success in the oncology space, in the CNS space as we've had in the oncology space, but that's changing. I think the golden age of CNS development, it's going to look like the oncology space in the next decade, and it's not as crowded as it is in the oncology space. And there's a lot of innovation going on. So for example, in our area, we look at neurodegenerative disease as an immune dysfunction. A lot of people have looked at it as a neurologic disease, but if you look at it as immune dysfunction, it's like immunotherapy in cancer, right? We use now the immune system in cancer to make big differences. Well, we're going to do the same with the brain. And we haven't done that yet. So I think we're kind of leading the charge in that area. We're mid-stage in our trial, and there's not many people that are using as many biomarkers as we are, nor are there many people yet that are really looking at the immune system of the brain, but that's about to change.
With so much, so much money goes into R&D and the expenses and making sure you get approved by regulators, everything else that goes into it. It's not cheap to do what you're doing. So if you don't mind me asking, what's the financial health of the company look like? More specifically, the type of cash runway, what do you have?
So good question. We're really proud of our capital structure. We only have 18 million, little under 18 million shares outstanding, and 40% is held by insiders. I'm one of the co-founders. So there's three founders, and there's a company called Xencor. Combined, we owned over 40%. And we have over 50 million in cash. It's enough through 24. And when a patient or a person hears about Alzheimer's trials, I think, oh my God, long and expensive, right? But these trials are not. These trials are short and less expensive. And why? Because we know the biology that we're targeting, which is the the TNF I mentioned. And when you hit the biology directly, and you can measure through biomarkers, you can measure the biologic change, and that's like a cancer trial, right? And so these trials are shorter and cheaper than what people are used to, and it's the reason why we can move through the clinic faster, and we can do these for a lot less money.
When it comes to, investors, right? You brought that up and how investors may think, oh, Alzheimer's, it's a long track to go and different things like that. We've seen so many crazy things in the stock market in terms of short squeezes and different things like that. The folks that might be betting against your company, if you're aware of any, what are they kind of getting wrong about the story itself? What thesis would somebody have to go short your company and not believe in you having success?
Alzheimer's is an area that's had nothing but failures. And why is that? Because they've been targeting the wrong thing. They've been looking at the amyloid and plaques, which doesn't kill neurons and synapses. And they've been doing the same thing over and over, or they run, let me just say, bonehead clinical trials. They skip phase 2, go to phase 3, they do an unblinded phase 2, et cetera, et cetera. And so they fail. We're doing this, it looks like an oncology trial. It's short, it's blinded, it's randomized, it's really going to test if the drug's going to change cognition. And, I think that they're short because of that. So our cap structure is interesting. It's only common shares outstanding. There's no warrants. There's no convertible debt. There's nothing funky. It's what you see is what you get. We're all retail investors. And we have about 1 million shares short. And I think the short is all institutional. I don't think anyone retail would be short our stock. It would be really silly for them to do it. But it must be all these algorithmics, institutional shorts. So if you look at I like to say that if you look at our institutional holding, it's actually negative because we have a little bit of institutional holding. It's small, but our short interest is larger. And so I deduct that from our institutional holding and it makes it negative. Yeah. But we've got a great shareholder base, very loyal, long-term shareholders. We want to build on that. We manage our capital structures and our capital very efficiently. I take the most dilution, so I'm very sensitive about that. But we're trying to solve a big problem here. And if we do, I think it's going to be a monumental change. And that's why I say, change the world. It sounds ridiculous, but I really believe that if, we're sitting on a next generation TNF inhibitor, we know TNF is a great target. And if you do it better and you do it in things like Alzheimer's, where neuroinflammation plays a big role. I mean, just type neuroinflammation and name the disease in Google and you'll find out information. But if we do that, I think we could be sitting on a huge drug franchise and it could change the lives of millions and millions of people. And so the opportunity is just enormous for us.
I do want to get to a couple of questions from the chat. AI has been the talk of the town ever since ChatGPT came out to help me ace my homework, if you will. Are y'all using AI in any shape or form? If not, do you plan to, or is it kind of not something that would be an asset to you?
We use it. We actually use it. We get so many data points through our biomarkers that it's so much data, and then to correlate it, we use AI, and it really gives us really interesting data. Actually, we published some information on AI where it showed that all of the data, what we call proteomics, we had MRI imaging of the white and gray matter, and then we had blood from the CSF. And we took all of that and threw it into AI, and it really showed that, patients in our phase 1 trial normalized. They all kind of collaborate, and they look more like a normal population. So, AI is very helpful. It's a way to analyze just enormous amounts of data and, help give direction on what's going on.
One last one, I'll turn it over to you here. We've got Raz from the chat asking what the average patient age is, and is it lifelong therapy? And especially what I'm interested in is kind of tying into that question is I know you mentioned that, hey, you kind of decline the rate at where the, Alzheimer's may increase, if you will, but is it kind of like, hey, it's a steady decline, or you kind of mentioned the flat line as well?
Yep. So patients who have Alzheimer's, they decline like this. Right. Patients who have neuroinflammation with Alzheimer's decline more steeply. In other words, if you have elevated neuroinflammation, your decline is more rapid. Okay. If you take the average, it's like this. If you take Biogen's drug, it's maybe a little bit better. It's about a 4 to 6 month difference. Our goal is to flatline the cognition. So cognition, you do not decline. So it's not a part of your disease. And, our average age is about 70. These patients are in their somewhere in the 70 age range. The treatment is easy. It's a once a week sub-Q injection. It's just a small protein, so it's not complicated like an infusion or anything like that. It's like an insulin shot. It's just, once a week. And yes, you would take it for life. It's, your neuroinflammation comes with age. It comes with lifestyle. It comes with everything. Inflammation, chronic inflammation is responsible for more than 50%. It's attributable to more than 50% of deaths. Name the disease. Wow. It's a huge market. It's the reason why the TNF inhibitors are so huge, and they're stuck in autoimmune disease. We can now take that TNF inhibitor and go to cardiac disease, cancer, neurodegenerative disease, metabolic disease, where they can't. So it means this franchise has just an enormous opportunity based on the drug we've designed. And that's why we're so excited. It's why we own a lot of stock. It's why we want to continue to own a lot of stock.
Yeah.
And I saw someone in the chat say that, they pulled up the inside ownership at 9%. That's not correct. They need to look a little closer. It's 40%.
Okay.
So whatever system they're looking at the wrong system. But, look, all I'm asking is look at our company.
Of course.
It's the most interesting company you've never heard of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our chat has been quite active, like you mentioned, and I hope you don't mind. I've got one more here because
I love it.
So, timeline, right? I know you're a publicly traded company. There's so much so that you can say, but I'd love to know timeline and insights in terms of what's next. What can investors, because you already have them in the chat. Leon is one of them, and potential investors. What's the timeline of what's next on your company here?
Yeah, so we have a number of things. I'm only going to talk about XPro. We have another platform. That platform is going to have data this year and next year. Sure. But for XPro, I think the milestones for the business is obviously open the US, which is we have an FDA hold that will come off of. So it opens. We'll continue enrolling patients in Australia, Canada, probably open one other international jurisdiction. All those patients, that trial will be complete, and the data will be out in the fourth quarter of next year. And then we have a treatment-resistant depression study that will start when the FDA lifts the hold. That's half funded by the NIH. And that is, you're talking millions of patients with treatment-resistant depression. It's a phase 2 study. It's run by two of the greatest people, the researchers in treatment-resistant depression at two top universities. And, those are the big milestones for us. Other than that, you might see something else with potentially some corporate partnerships or some other things going on. I'd never really like to promise much in that area, but with the platform that we have, it has a lot of applications and there's a lot of interest in what we're doing.
Gotcha. Appreciate you. This has been a wonderful conversation for me, and we've gone a bit over time, and I apologize for that, but I've learned a lot. I've been trying to work out, so I thought protein was just great to build muscles, but obviously there's a lot more that it can be an asset to, especially in the brain. I've definitely loved what I've heard, but I do want to still give you a chance to cover any topics that I may not have brought up. The floor is kind of yours to talk to our investors here.
Yeah, no, KB brought up something about rheumatoid arthritis has a high incidence of Alzheimer's. I want to end on that because this is the reason we're using TNF. Patients who have rheumatoid arthritis, they're TNF factories. They just produce it in their joints. It's why, their joints hurt. And if they take a TNF inhibitor, patients who have elevated TNF that have rheumatoid arthritis have an 800% increase in the chance of getting Alzheimer's disease compared to the normal population like you and me, Zunaid.
Yeah.
But if they take a TNF inhibitor and only a TNF inhibitor, not a JAK inhibitor or any other kind of anti-inflammatory, their incidence of Alzheimer's disease goes down 60% compared to the normal population. So TNF clearly plays a role.
Yeah.
The problem is they can't use those drugs because they're immunosuppressive, and you don't want to immunosuppress a 70-year-old patient.
Yeah.
But our drug is actually immunosupportive. And also because half the cells in the brain are immunologically active, you don't want to immunosuppress them because they can't do their job of taking care of the neurons and synapses. But if you get rid of the neuroinflammation and you do it well, by supporting those cells, immunosupporting them, the brain does great things and it repairs itself. And that's what we're doing. It's a really cool, it's the neatest little drug back there. And we plan to do our best to take it to market.
I absolutely love that it's your background there. Thank you so much. That is David Moss, who is the CEO of ImmuneBio, ticker INMB. David, thank you so much for your time. And I really do look forward to our next conversation.
Please, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Absolutely. Take care, David. You have a great one. And thank you, chat, for being so active. I really appreciate it because we do this for you guys and gals to make sure that, hey, we want to bring up companies that have the potential to go ahead and have your hard-earned money invested in them so that they can make a difference. So we appreciate your questions and we appreciate you for watching All Access.